Vice President Biden and Senator Harris are the best choice to lead our country, and I am endorsing them to become President and Vice President of our United States.
A few moments later.
Really have friends who support Biden?
I do. Well, no. Here's what I do. I have friends. Thank you. That's a good check, because that's important. This is important context.
They support the Democratic Party.
I have friends who are loyal to the party.
Yeah.
Now the question is, why is everybody talking about Wayne Johnson and calling him all kind of crazy name? What exactly has he done so wrong? We're going to take a listen to this video where Wayne Johnson is being questioned here on Fox News, and he's going to share the reason why he is not supporting Joe Biden again. For those of you who did not know, and I did put a video at the start of this thing where Wayne Johnson was actually speaking about supporting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. In this video right there, they were having an interview, and he publicly said the same thing again. Let's take a listen.
And I have never publicly endorsed a presidential candidate or a vice presidential candidate in my life, over my career. So I figured let's kick this conversation off this way by me officially publicly endorsing you both to become president and vice president of our great country.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's
means a great
incredible.
deal to us, for real. Thank you.
Really. Thank you.
You guys are both obviously experienced to lead. You've done great things. Joe, you've had such an incredible career. You've led, in my opinion, with great compassion and heart and drive, but also soul.
All right. So this was then, and this is now, because the world has changed tremendously, dramatically. And here is Wayne Johnson now telling you something completely different.
You made that endorsement in 2020. Are you happy with the state of America?
Am I happy with the state of America right now? Well, that answer is no. Do I believe we're going to get better? I believe in that. I'm an optimistic guy, and I believe we can get better. The endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one I thought was the best decision for me at that time. And I thought back then, when we talk about, hey, I'm in this position where I have some influence, and it's my job then. I felt like that then. It's my job now to exercise my influence and share with this is who I'm going to endorse. Am I going to do that again this year? That answer is no.
These were the words of Wayne Johnson. And let me tell you, the world went crazy just because he didn't say he was going to endorse President Trump. He simply said, I will not endorse Joe Biden. Again, I mean, how could you be upset with the man when Joe Biden has not done such a good job? Things have become worse, have gotten worse, more expensive. Our safety and security has ever been so bad. This is happening under his administration. Am I blaming one man for all of these issues? No, I think there are many policies that are the cause of it, but without him opening the door, I don't think this would have been possible. This wasn't the case under Trump. That's a fact. So now, we're gonna look at a few mail down. I think the ladies on The View, they had something to say about this, and let's take a listen to them.
In my guts, back then and now, which is division.
So a couple of questions. First of all,
maybe they're not as
okay. I mean, the rhetoric gets really bad, but I want to hear from Sunny Hostin, because I think her remark was pretty inhumane.
to do whatever the hell they want.
You know, he's been quite political. I agree with you, and he's been very engaged and very involved. I do think we're living in a time where we have someone running for president that is an existential threat to democracy. Right?
That's like one of those talking points that they're supposed to say.
That is where we are at. Someone who has 88, criminal charges, 4 indictments, someone that has vowed to be a dictator on the very first day he takes office.
Well, he didn't really mean that. That was a joke. You missed the point.
Now is the time. If you have a platform, you must be active. You must speak out. That's how I feel. And
I mean, you get the point, right? It's just that as a celebrity, he's not allowed to have an opinion that opposes theirs, and it's like, in order for him to do that, that's like the greatest sin, So it's showing you that the political landscape today is really, really bad, to the point where a celebrity, if he dares to say something, he has to watch out. And
Well, folks, in critically important news, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced he's going to keep his politics to himself. Dwayne somehow managed to avoid being struck down by a giant bolt of irony lightning as he made his proclamation during an appearance on Fox News, which of course is just about the most political environment he could have chosen. It's almost like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson didn't want to admit that his audience smacked him pretty bad for supporting Biden in the last election, and his handlers pressured him to fix the problem and keep his stardom intact. So The Rock became a pebble and wussy-wussed out of owning the painfully clear message he was sending by sitting in MAGA world, rubbing elbows with the biggest liars in the business, pretending to dislike division and woke culture, while saying nothing about the big lie, J6, or Orangina Schlumper McPhee's last fucking Truth Social post. But jolly good Giant Johnson would like us to believe that he's totally cool with Americans living under authoritarianism, as long as they just get along. Well, clearly, women and marginalized communities and thinking people are not The Rock's demographic. No, he's playing to the low-hanging fruit that slogs through life in a hateful daze, only coming to life when words like woke come out of the TV. Well, I think it's safe to say what once was a rock seems to have been beaten into a slab, and all he's got left is to appeal to the rubble. Yeah. Well, Dwayne, have a day, dude. Have a day. Yeah.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is changing his vote.
It's my job then. I felt like that then. It's my job now to exercise my influence and share with this is who I'm going to endorse. Am I going to do that again this year? That answer's no.
I don't even really know what to say, I guess. Do I believe that he just up and changed his mind? No, I don't. I think that in 2020 there was some contracts that were being called on to push certain narratives and to push certain voting ideologies. Maybe those contracts are up. Maybe that's not even really Dwayne. I don't know. It always kind of astounded me when he came out and was like, pro Joe Biden. Considering he'd always been kind of pro-military. He'd always done, things for the U.S. military branches. And no, I haven't forgotten about the P3DO robot clip. So we got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Chris Cuomo, who was on Tucker and was like, you know what? Limp Dick Donald Trump guy. What was his name? Michael Rappaport. Michael Rappaport was his name.
Will not vote for Joe Biden. At this point, when we're doing this interview, voting for Trump is on the table.
It's almost like shit's getting so bad that you just can't deny it anymore. Ain't that something?
I think it's only fair for Dwayne Johnson, after looking at the condition of our society and country, to make a decision otherwise. He says, I'm not going to do what I did before. It's only common sense. I mean, if you're thinking about it, like, look at the nature of things today. Why would you keep on voting for the same policies that are destructive to the country? Like, you thought Donald Trump was the worst. I mean, here comes Mr. Joe and the rest of the policies behind some of his administration. How much worse things have gotten. Tremendously worse. And I think this is why, you got to think about what you're voting about. You got to think about who's leading this country. And I think some people can choose to just say, I'm apolitical. I don't think that's the safest place to be, because when things go down and things get bad, you really don't have much of a say in it, because you didn't exercise your right to make a difference about what's happening. So I think it's only fair, if you're going to get into this discussion, you have to know what you're talking about. I think as celebrities, they are somewhat very afraid of having an opinion about some of these issues, because these men, if they say the wrong thing, that's like the end of their career. If they dare to speak about certain things in a way that is not pleasing to some people, it's over for them. So you got to understand this. And I think in scripture, if I were to think about this, is just the idea of repentance is one of the good principles we can think about. And I think sometimes you find yourself going one particular course and it's not working in the way that you wish it had. You kind of have to turn around. And I think what's happening here is having a repentant moment. He's really having a coming to Jesus moment, because he's realizing things are not exactly good. And again, being an optimistic guy, which I totally understand. And again, he's not saying he's voting for Donald Trump, which he doesn't have to tell you that. And if you were to say it, that might be the end of his career, because there are some people who are so determined to end the man's career just because he has an opinion that is different from theirs. And I think that is very problematic in the country when we come to a place where you cannot respect somebody else's view because it's different from yours. And because the man is a celebrity, I think it's best that these celebrities stay away from politics and not share their view, because things are so toxic in the country. It's best you keep quiet because you're not going to help your case. You know, but I notice the people who get upset the most are those that are on the left. I don't see people from the right getting upset because of some type of celebrity is not willing to vote for whoever their preferred candidate might be. And I think the idea that they have to do certain things and they have to get behind certain candidates just because we say so is very, I got a sense of dictatorship here. I got a sense of no compassion here. I get this spirit of condemnation. I'm like, I'm not for that. And for me, I think the man has every right to choose whoever he wants to vote for. It's only fair that we respect somebody else's opinion because we might not like what he has to say. We might not agree with him, but his views are his views. It's just fair to only allow the man to have that. And, and I think as a Christian man, regardless of the way I feel about you, you may not like me. I may not like your religion. I may not like certain things about you. I may speak against certain things, but I respect you long enough. I respect you enough to allow you to have a view that is different from my own. Whatever happened to this level of common sense, whatever happened to acceptance and, embracing differences, whatever happened to that? It's on one portion of the world, they are crying for differences. They are crying for coming together. On the other end, it's almost like it's completely nullified. It's like, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's like, especially when it comes to political stuff. And I think it's getting so toxic out there. You gotta be careful and prayerful. If you're gonna make a stand, make a stand. For me, I'm like, Trump is my guy. He's my guy. I made my choice a long time ago, and I'm not changing my opinion. Trump is my guy. Trump simply makes sense, and I'm gonna stand firm. But when you're a celebrity, though, you can't say that. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that. It's just the backlash is gonna be horrendous, and it has been, unfortunately. Anyway, friends, share your thought and perspective with me. Much more could be said about this. Where do you stand when it comes to this matter? Do you agree with Dwayne Johnson or not? Do you think his position is good? Sure. Let me know what you think. Have a good one. Bye.